I keep expecting to run out of content, to be honest, for this segment. But every week I'm proved wrong. And what I'm going to do this week is broaden the scope of Holier Than Thou a little bit. Because at the heart of it.
Okay.
So am I going now? Or
yeah, you're going now. Too. Off you go. Holier Than Thou.
I need a clear starting point. Yeah. Okay. So I'm broadening the scope for Holier Than Thou because at the heart of it, I think these diatribes are supposed to be about encouraging accountability in our democracy and highlighting its underlying importance. Unfortunately for the public, and simultaneously helpful in my quest for content, there's never a shortage of officials, spin doctors, representatives, spokespeople, or anyone else who legs it from their responsibility to communicate with the people they serve. First on the list this week will not come as a surprise to anyone with an internet connection and some spare time, Wellington Mayor Tory Whanau. It's not her first time on the list, and it's not her first time on the Bears. Whanau's well-documented enthusiasm for the pub has landed her in hot water before, attracting criticism for tying one on at a Wellington restaurant, then forgetting to pay the bill on the way out. This time, she's come out and said her drunkenness had been recorded at an incident at Havana Bar a few weeks ago, though no one seems to have seen it. As you can imagine, we were always going to cover this story, and we're keen to get the mayor on the program to clear up any misconceptions and tell her side of the story. As is the custom in ethical journalism. Well, she refused, as she and all other green-aligned political actors always do. Whanau has admitted in statements to other media, though, that she has a problem with alcohol and alluded to accompanying mental health issues as well. Now, that's a serious concern, and I do hope personally that she gets the help that she requires for that and is able to come back from it. It does not, though, excuse behaviour like that which she has been accused. And in the absence of any meaningful scrutiny from the mainstream media or an interview with the mayor herself, I would venture to suggest she probably does need to step down from that position. Even aside from the most recent incident, we hear privately that Whanau is absent from most media engagements, dials into meetings by Zoom, doesn't front for media who won't give her the easy ride, and doesn't turn up to speak anywhere where she might be criticised. Those are not traits of an effective or progressive leader, and that needs to be communicated by the media more than it has been so far, which is not at all. And she hasn't communicated it herself either because we can't get hold of her. So Holier Than Thou it is. That brings me down the list to the second in line for the accountability spotlight this week, the entire mainstream media, which is a little unorthodox, I know, and that's what I mean by broadening the scope. But bear with me here because the media in this country are far too comfortable excluding themselves from scrutiny, given they are often the ones administering it. The media have been falling over themselves this week in relation to comments from the Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters, who told the media they had been bribed by the previous government, and they proceeded to go completely rabid. It's unbecoming, they bleated. What a biased and irresponsible accusation. Well, you may have noticed, as I have, that the ceremonial tossing of the media's toys from their cot this week has largely been hyper-focused on the Deputy PM's choice of words rather than the substance of what he was communicating. Now, the use of the word bribe has had the likes of News Hub, TVNZ in absolute conniptions this week. Jenna Lynch flew off the handles at the 6 p.m. news, wrote a furious column in response to it. Look, the technical accuracy of the word bribe to describe the demonstrable bias and dodgy dealings of our media over the last 6 or so years is up for debate, in my view, of which there has been little. But the publicly available and frankly incriminating information to which he was referring is plain as day. The criteria for the eligibility of the Public Interest Journalism Fund, which former Prime Minister Chris Hipkins admitted himself went too far, the deals with the government agencies to present government messaging as news, it's all there, and the media takes accountability for absolutely none of it. Instead, they use the incredibly privileged position they are in of having direct one-on-one access to those in power to point the finger at you and pressure MPs in interviews to label you as disinformation peddlers, conspiracy theorists, and idiots. It's shameful, arrogant, self-serving, selective ignorance, and that is the reason people are turning off the news, not because Winston Peters said they were bribed, whether that statement is accurate or not. That is Holier Than Thou for this week. Do we have the theme tune the first time round? Can we have it again now? Okay, I can't hear it. There it is. Very important. Thank you very much, though.